Three guys who combined to play 15 seasons in the National Football League trenches. Well, two guys. And Mackey, who didn't do shit. This is the O-Line Committee.
No rest in the offseason, boys. Jeremiah spent 8 hours at a roller coaster park.
Worlds
yesterday.
of Fun in Kansas City, Missouri.
Did it live up to the name?
I've been there before, right? We've been there as I think we went in college a couple times, but first time with kids, and that, my friends, totally different experience.
Was this your kid's first time on roller coasters?
Yes. Well, because you have to remember, so my son's only he'll be 6 in July, but he's 50 inches tall. So he's tall enough to ride on all the rides, where my daughter's not quite there yet, but she's the more fearless one, right? My son, we went on our first one, and we went on this first roller coaster, and the second I got in it and they put that lap bar down, I thought my knee was going to explode.
Regret.
Right?
Instant
My
regret.
wife looked back to me, and I'm starting to sweat, and I'm like, go, we just got to go. I was like, we just got to go. And then so my son's freaking out, and the whole time I'm just like, get me off this ride. And then he kind of got scared to go on the rest of them. But then my daughter, she was like, I want to go. I want to go on all of them. All of them, Dad. I want to go on all of them. I was like, honey, you're 3 inches too short. I'm sorry. You're only 45 inches. You got to be 48 inches. So, but it was a ton of fun. The kids had a blast. We lived in Snoopy's playground for most of the day.
Hey, I know your pain when you put as soon as you strap in, you're like, just hit the button because as long as we're moving, I'm fine. As long as I'm not thinking about what's going on, But the minute you get to the top of the ride and you stop, you're like, my fucking knee hurts so bad, and then you're like, hold on a second, I'll be right back.
I also just realized, dude. Oh, he was talking to us. Got it. I also forget that those cart size are not meant for big people.
Not at all. Dude, the worst are the ones that come down this way because you're like, oh my God, I can't go any lower than this. And they're like, just a little bit more, dude. Just a little bit more. Johnny's like, it's worth it, Dad. It's worth it for me.
It's totally worth it.
I'm out of that stage. I'm so happy. They're all old enough to go on your own. Don't ask me to get on a ride. Not happening. I don't know how you did it, dude. Congratulations.
You got to love the kids. For the kids, man.
You have to.
It's for the kids.
Do you get sick on rides, or is it mostly physical
it's
pain?
The pain.
From?
It's the physical
I love
pain.
roller coasters. I legitimately love roller coasters. It's just really hard to fit.
When your knee gets bent and it's the size of a watermelon, you're like, please just get me out of this position as fast as possible.
Who was it? So we did the Minnesota, I think it was 2016. I don't know if you were there yet, Boone, when we did it in Mall of America.
No, I came right after that.
Okay, that 2015. 2015, we did the Christmas party. Wilfs rented out the middle of the Wall of America for all the Vikings, and we got the free rides, right? So a bunch of grown-ass men riding all these rides, and we got Fusco stuck in the turtle shell one.
Oh,
the Ninja Turtle one. It had just come out.
With the wings, and
we were all trying to see who could flap the most, and I was like, dude, there's no way these things are rated to have 10 300-pound people on them.
No.
Right? No way.
You
But then,
wasn't part of
we
the
Final
project.
Destination.
we had to really shove Fusco in there. I'm talking 2 or 3 of us and when we got it in there, then when everything popped up, his didn't. He was like, hey guys, guys, and he's just guys, hold on, and he's just shoved in there. It's hold on. Oh, so funny. Just so funny.
What was the food tally? What'd you guys get into?
I'm still trying. I have finishing up a 10-week weight loss challenge here on Friday.
You're always doing a weight loss challenge.
Yeah, it's because unlike you, I can't keep it off. Right, so I do the yo-yo thing, and so I didn't eat much.
It's a 10-week weight loss challenge as part of a 10-year yo-yo challenge.
Correct,
yeah, dude. That's exactly what I feel like we're on, this roller coaster.
It's a bad roller coaster that I can't get off of. But no, I mean, the kids were into Dippin' Dots, and they had chicken fingers and chicken sandwiches and popcorn, and I mean, I think the food tally was probably close to $200.
Dude, that's just a test of your willpower. How are you?
They had the one place I could find that had chicken skewers. Right, and it was these 2 sticks of with this much chicken on them, and so there was 6 of them left, and I go, I'll have all your skewers. And she this high school lady looks behind me all of them? I was like, yeah, all the skewers. And she's like, I'm gonna have to charge you for 3 separate meals. I was like, I don't care, I want all the skewers.
And if you could find more, that would be
great.
I'll take those too.
And then as my wife was checking out the other high school, she's like, what'd you have? He's like, well, he had 3, and she goes, 3. I was like, what's wrong with... Do you see how much meat this is? It's like a chicken finger on a freaking stick, and you call it a skewer. Leave me alone.
It's not even a chicken finger. Look at you. You've changed, dude. Chicken on a stick. What the fuck,
It's all I could
Jay?
find. Listen, I wanted the funnel cake. That's
Find him
I wanted
right
the
now.
funnel cake. Dude, nothing is better than
I'm
an
finding you
amusement
for
park.
not enjoying yourself.
I know. A theme park funnel cake that's been fried in the same grease
Yes.
that's been there since the inception of the park is so
Right?
good. It's
And the
always
same
so
powdered sugar
good,
that's
dude.
been there since the inception of the park. Yes,
That
absolutely.
they've, for some other reason, never had to refill. It's still in that,
still in
that
a white
tin
paper
cup.
plate.
It's in
I know.
that tin cup.
Oh, you're doing tin cup? I'm doing white paper plate. I'm more carnival style.
We probably could have found you like a keto corn dog, or you just make me the corn dog with
Phil,
only
what the
the
fuck
hot
is
dog
wrong
on
with
the
you?
stick.
Keto
You've
corn
never
dog?
been.
You're
You've
an
never
idiot.
been to Worlds of Fun, my friend. It's not exactly what I would call a cultured place.
No.
Oh, Jeremiah here for Worlds of Fun.
Worlds of Fun.
WorldsofFun.net.
Yeah, have fun.
before
Smells
we-
like BO and weed.
Jeez. It's a glorious new flavor of Axe body spray.
Oh, yeah.
Before we dive into some dumb football questions here, boys, Aaron Rodgers finally jumped in to Pittsburgh. A bunch of great questions from listeners here. Two things. One, thank you guys for clicking that subscribe button and the like button here on the O-Line Committee YouTube channel. Also, Jeremiah talking about what it's like to have a quarterback's knuckles in your rectum went viral on the O-Line Committee social medias last week.
Pervert.
So find us on O-Line Committee, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, etc. And then KW Outdoor Solutions for the Twin Cities part of the audience here is specializing in high-quality exterior cleaning services. So if you've got dirty-ass windows and you're just like, I don't know if I want to go up on a ladder and clean these things, well, KW Outdoor Solutions will do it better than you, and they'll do it in a safe manner. So interior and exterior windows, ensuring a streak-free finish and crystal clear views. Dirt and dust buildup, hard water stains, cobwebs, grime, all of it gone because of KW Outdoor Solutions. So whether it's a one-time deep clean or something that's part of a recurring maintenance plan, you can find out more and get a 10% off discount when you go to kwoutdoorsolutions.com or when you call them and mention the O-Line Committee and Score North. 10% off kwoutdoorsolutions.com. All right, boys. Time for some dumb football questions here. We're turning most of these off-season episodes over to you, the audience, but I have a couple to start with here. Aaron Rodgers finally put pen to paper with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So my dumb football question is, what are the Steelers now competitively or not with Aaron Rodgers? Are they a Super Bowl contender? Are they even one of the two best teams in their division after signing Aaron Rodgers?
That's the question I've been pondering too. Is like, are we excited about this if we're a Pittsburgh fan? Like,
Yes.
are we
Yes.
super excited about this, or are we just kind of like?
You said excited. That's good enough. We're excited. Dude, you can't tell me you're not at least a little bit excited. Like, hey, it could have been Mason Rudolph. This, if anything, the dysfunction of what goes wrong here will be fucking epic, right? But I will say this, getting rid of George Pickens doesn't help your cause. Like, I'm looking at this like that could have been a real 1-2. Yeah, the three-way of this could have been fucking explosively dangerous. And that's another thing. You're riding on a fucking high right now. Once you sign Aaron Rodgers, you're like, listen, we got to go. Because think about the last year and the year
They'll
before.
bring in Randall Cobb, dude. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
Dude, they're going to
Cobb.
bring in
Greg Jennings
Devontae
will come
Adams
back.
will come back. It's going to be a fucking mess, dude. It's going to be, whether they're winning or whether it's a mess, it's going to be something. And that's what I'm excited about.
I'm excited to see the Tomlin Rodgers relationship.
Oh, it'd be
Like
great.
how that's, but like on game day, right? Is it going to be the two coexist, or is it two ships passing in the night? Who's actually in control of the offense? Because Tomlin has ran that forever, but everywhere that Aaron's gone, he's kind of put his foot down. Like, this is my offense,
Which I think is
run
fair.
this.
I don't
Which
think
is
Tomlin will
fair.
get in the way of that.
I don't know. Tomlin doesn't put up with a lot of shit.
Yeah, but he's not gonna meddle in the offense, and that's what I think. It's gonna be different, right? You lose Najee Harris, who goes to the Chargers, and then all of a sudden it's like, okay, well now what are we doing, right? That's why I'm not so against this. It's like, yeah, we weren't like we were a run first. It's like, hey, you're gonna need to throw the ball a little bit. You don't have Najee back there anymore. You got DK on the outside. That's why I'm looking at this going, you got rid of George, and maybe they foresaw all this, and they were like, hey, the three of them cannot coexist in the same offensive room, right? Or maybe Jay's right. The three of them and Tomlin cannot coexist in a team room. And I think you put a lot of faith in Aaron. Am I excited? Maybe. I agree. Maybe they're the third best team now. You've gone over the Browns significantly.
I think
which
they
is
were
not saying much.
already over the Browns.
I don't know about that. You didn't
Yes.
really have a quarterback, dude.
Oh, Cleveland's got plenty. You could borrow, maybe borrow.
But that's
one
my
at some
point. Is like
doesn't
at
work
some point they were kind of the same team. Now you have a better quarterback. So yeah, you're the third best team, but it's going to be a real uphill battle in that fucking division, and you're going to have to score a lot of points. Like defensively, can you continue to do what you've been doing for the last fucking decade, dude? It's hard.
TJ Watt is not reporting to mandatory minicamp.
Well, maybe Aaron helps bring him in, right? Maybe Aaron's like, hey, man, let's put all this shit aside. Let's just go out and do this for 1 year. You can get fucking paid after this year. I'm going to ride off into the sunset after this year.
And then he's going to give you the big finger and go, yeah, Mr.
Maybe he will.
That's easy to say when you're the highest paid player in all of the NFL ever.
Again. Yeah.
Ever. Again. Right? Okay. Yeah, sounds
400.
good. Yeah, 400. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll sit for a year. No, I'd like to make mine now too, please.
By the way, you're making 20. You're taking some of TJ's.
You're like, hey,
sorry, I took some of yours, but you should come back.
Some of yours, but you should come hang out. Let's go do the dang thing.
There's TJ right now.
Yeah, 100%.
Couldn't have signed for 5, bro. Giving me 15.
Dude, one of the things that I'm curious about. So Cam Hayward, for instance, longtime veteran, went on a podcast like a few months ago. I think it was his own podcast, and said, either you want to be a Steeler or you don't. It's that simple. That's the pitch. And it was kind of like all this BS that comes with Rodgers. This is a different situation with Tomlin as the established coach. You got Watt, you got Hayward, you've got some dudes. That's not the Jets. You're not walking in to like save this embarrassing franchise.
Right.
The Steelers definitely they haven't won a playoff game in a long time, but that's an established winning franchise. And I just wonder how he's going to assimilate. Like, he's not going to be shoulder checking Mike Tomlin on the sideline of that awkward exchange that he had with Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
There's a certain, even though the Steelers have flaws, there's a certain organizational respect level that's way higher than the Jets the last couple of years.
Absolutely.
That he's going to walk into here,
and
right?
Defensively, they've been way more stout than the Jets. I mean, we've known Tomlin to be a winning coach his entire tenure there, right? Like, he's never had a losing season. And I agree with you. I think it's going to be an interesting shock to Aaron, probably more than anything. Like, hey, this is how shit's run here, right? Like, it's not like when he went to the Jets and it's like, hey, I'm thinking we should change some things, and everyone's like, whatever he says, right?
Dude,
like, you walk in and the defense, and I've been on teams like this where you walk in and the defense is like, shut the fuck up, and you're like, damn it, fine, like, we're winning because of you, I got it. But that's where I personally am like, can the defense do it again this year? Right? You got a frustrated TJ. You're going to have to figure that situation out. But at the same time, it's been a long time you've had a dominating defense. Can you put it together? Can Aaron put it together with the offense after you got rid of an explosive George Pickens, who was also feisty as shit? It's going to be interesting either way, whether they're winning or whether it's just a fucking... It's going to be awesome over in Pittsburgh.
Do you think they preemptively punted on George Pickens, knowing that
Yes.
Rodgers will be here, and there is zero chance those guys are going to be able to coexist together?
Probably.
I think they looked at him and DK and they were like, shit, big fight coming down the pipe. Well, we just traded for one, so we can't get rid of him. So, George, sorry. And do I think they're wrong to do that? No. I think that is Mike Tomlin going, hey, I've seen this fucking shit, right? AB, Ben, we've been down these roads. We can't have two fiery guys on the outside and a fiery dude in the backfield. We could probably get away with DK because DK's super chill all the time. He just goes crazy on the defensive fucking safeties. He'll like beat the shit out of them randomly, which I'm all for. You signed up to do that. Go for it. It's the whole Aaron, George, DK, I want the ball. He's getting the ball. Now it's like, oh, fuck, we got problems. That I 100% think they saw, and I'm sure Aaron was like, hey, listen, just give me some time. I'm going to fuck around for a little bit. I'm going to do my thing. I'm coming. Get ready. That was them getting ready. All right, George, you're out. Peace. Everybody good? We're good. Here we go. And by the way, their offensive line, I am the most excited for this year. You have a young offensive line, a fucking young center who's been playing great. It's going to be really fun. I'm sad that Najee left, but that's why I see them going into Aaron going, hey, man, we're going to need some magic, right? Like, we're going to need you to do some things on the outside for us, make it explosive. Does it happen? We'll see. It makes it more competitive for sure.
They drafted running back.
Wasn't it that?
Trying to look that up because I think they drafted a stud too. Trying to think, I can't remember. I don't remember all the rookies once the draft ends.
Neither do I. God,
it's kind of funny how quick that
was it from Texas?
Knowledge goes out the window.
It's just gone.
It's just zero. Caleb Johnson.
Yes, out of Iowa.
Yeah,
he's going to be
Iowa. That's
going to be a really, really good pickup for them. I think he's going to emerge as. I think he's going to get at
they also
least
have Warren, right?
60% of the carries by the end of the year.
Emmanuel
I think
Warren's
Warren,
still there?
Warren will be the main guy to start, but
For
they'll
sure.
see Caleb will eventually overtake him with just that style of running.
The only other thing that's worth mentioning here, because I feel like we've exhausted all the Rodgers discussion leading up to this the last few months, but he's 41. He does turn 42 on December 2nd. There's only been one quarterback in NFL history who's played at a supremely high level age 41 or later, and it's Tom Brady.
Do I think that he could do it? No. Maybe.
I don't.
I don't
I know, dude. I'm like, dude,
yeah. I mean,
we've seen the last 2 years.
That's the thing. Like, Tom never really had a huge dip and then like came back. He kind of he leveled off there for a while, and then he like accelerated there at the end of his career. We've seen a bit of a dip in Rodgers' play from an injury standpoint and just from an overall accuracy, pushing the ball down the field. I mean, even when he had Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams, right? You can say the Jets weren't good, but they had dudes to throw to on the outside.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just not entirely sold on the fact that Aaron is still that guy.
Like, can he be the guy that's going to run around and escape pressure and back foot throw and like razzle dazzle me? It's like, no, I don't. I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be like, hey, let's get the ball out quick. I'm very smart. And let's be honest. It's kind of the bell curve the coaches always warned us about, right? Like, eventually you're not going to be as strong as you are smart. And so you need to use that to your advantage. And you'd be like, oh, okay, great. Tom did the same thing. Tom wasn't fast. Peyton, they were not fast guys. They weren't like Aaron in his prime where he could run around and one-foot it by the sideline and everybody was like, fuck, man, here we go again, right? It was like, okay, I know pressure's coming from the left. Here we go. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. We good? Good. Break. Like, it's just quicker things happen, and I think that's what the Pittsburgh Steelers think is going to happen. Hey, we're going to upgrade in our IQ at quarterback, and hopefully we can hone in a little bit more accuracy and make this shit sharp.
Yeah. I know you guys love statistics, but Rodgers was like sixth, I think, in the NFL in passer rating when pressured. So he's still when you've seen 20 years worth of defensive alignments, like you can still. All right, you just get rid of the ball a half beat quicker. Okay, next dumb football question here for you guys. So Anthony Richardson, who initially was going to compete with Daniel Jones for the Colts starting quarterback job, so he's got another shoulder flare-up, and he's out indefinitely. He's going to miss like the rest of minicamp OTAs. And so Daniel Jones is going to be QB1 probably going into training camp. So my dumb football question for you guys is Daniel Jones the next Sam Darnold, where we're going to have a career reclamation and a solidified contract?
Whoa. Timeout.
Yes.
Wow, whoa. Stop. Stop.
Yes.
Stop it right now. This shit doesn't happen once a year, dude. It's not like the football gods come down and touch one quarterback and go, I'm going to make you fucking special for the year. That guy was sitting in rooms with KOC. That's why that shit happened. What makes me think Shane Strickland's going to turn some quarterback around?
It's not his name.
Steichen, whatever it is.
Put some respect on Shane's name.
Exactly.
Okay? It's not his name.
You really think that
Shane
he's going to
Strickland.
one-time this and just turn it around?
Here's the reason I say yes to that.
Steak and a beer.
That what?
Oh, steak and a beer.
That what?
That he's going to have a Sam Darnold year and break
Okay,
out and sign a
here are the
$100 million
parameters.
What are
deal
the
next year.
parameters? What are the parameters?
Well,
of
he
this
has to
deal?
start every game.
No, I'll say let's just put a parameter like this. He has to sign a multi-year contract worth at least $30 million a year.
I'll take that bet.
Is that fair, Booney?
I'll take
Are
that
you
bet.
serious? You jumped
I'll
on
take.
that. Like,
I'll take a multi-year deal. 30
that's a $100 million
year.
deal at the end of this.
3-year 30.
No, it'd be 2
3 year
years,
90.
at least 260 or 390. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be 390.
So yeah, 3 years for 30 a year. I'd do that. I'll take that
game
bet.
on.
Would you do it
Steak and
right
a beer
now?
Right now.
I'll take that bet. No, God no. But I do think that he's going to go in and have more success. I mean, he still has. Right, if you look at Sam Darnold's career versus Daniel Jones had way more success on the front end of his career than Sam Darnold ever did. Right, it's not even really close. He took a team to the playoffs. He won a playoff game. Like, he still has that piece in there. The question with Sam Darnold was every time that things would be going well as you're waiting for him to turn back into the pumpkin. Daniel is a little bit of that pumpkin, but we're waiting for him to turn back into the playoff leading type quarterback he was for the Giants in 2-3 years ago. So I still think he has more upside on that piece with the athleticism profile, with that RPO system that they want to run there in Indy, right? With Jonathan Taylor, who's going to be like when he had Saquon Barkley. So I think he's going to revert back to a higher form. I mean, if you look at his stats, he's very similar to Trevor Lawrence in pretty much every category in which you can look at. And Trevor's making 50 a year. So there's not enough good quarterbacks in this league. If Daniel Jones can go out there and show that he's still serviceable and got it, a team's going to pay him to be their starting quarterback.
Wow. Dude, even Phil's laughing. Phil's even fucking laughing.
I can't
even
do it.
Phil's like, you're crazy. So wait, are we making this bet right now?
Yeah. I'm aligning with Booney on this.
Thank you. I think you're crazy.
In fact,
dude.
I think he made a grave career mistake not being patient and sitting one more year in Minnesota, maybe even getting a shot at some point if McCarthy flames out. I would have spent one more. I would have done the full curriculum of quarterback rehab school.
Absolutely. You got out early. You did the early education. Yeah.
He
chopped
dropped
out early.
out in the middle of the first semester of QB rehab school.
Everybody was like, no.
Good to go.
He was like, I want the money. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm with you, Phil.
The Colts do have some sneaky weapons, though, too. Like Michael Pittman, Josh Downs is a good young receiver. Alec Pierce led the NFL in yards per reception, just catching deep balls from he had a couple like 80-yarders,
50 balls. You don't
down
say.
there.
Well, I mean, dude, Jonathan Taylor in the
catches.
backfield helps a lot, right?
Yeah.
That's one
Two
of the biggest
catches
things.
for 180 yards.
They did lose 40% of their starting offensive line in free agency.
That's where I think this is going to be the biggest issue, right? Is you now have to decipher that this isn't Jonathan Taylor's team, this is your team. And that's exactly what Sam Darnold did here, because there was no big back in the backfield to help him run it, right? It was like, hey, when we need shit, it's you. And he showed up. That's why it's going to be really hard for Daniel Jones to turn around and go, this is my team, because they're going to be like, well, we're just going to handle the ball 30 times, 40 times a game. You have to pull them out of that. That's where I think it's going to be hard to get that $30 million a year deal. Dude, that's a lot of money too, dude.
For a starting quarterback. For a starting quarterback, that's nothing.
Okay. It's Sam Darnold got.
I mean,
I think
for a starting quarterback in the NFL, $30 million is nothing. That's why people
it would have to be established that he is the next. Geno
Smith,
Baker.
right? Geno Smith, Baker.
Baker's a great example.
Although Baker now has become the best. People throw him in that because of the contract. Baker has become legitimately like the 9th best quarterback.
Yeah,
in
he's
the
a top
league
10.
The
He's a top 10 quarterback in the league right now.
That's one of the most valuable contracts in the league right now, because you're probably underpaying him by $25 million a year based on how good he is. So bravo to he still feed his family. Bravo to the Tampa Bay Bucks.
The Bills aren't late.
Bravo to everybody involved.
No. Okay, let's get to some listener dumb football questions here. This one's from Purdy Good. Purdy Good 79. I love this question. Just teaching people about the X's and O's of football here. As a 49er fan, I've heard a lot about the defensive end setting the edge this offseason. What exactly does setting the edge mean when you hear that in football?
Oh, man.
That's a great question.
I think of Paris Harrelson setting the edge my first day of camp, because we used to have a run of 3-4, and he was always the Sam. And so when the tight end would block down, you'd go to counter, and he'd just be standing there, and he'd just two-arm you right away, and you'd be poof. You'd be like, God damn! Like, he was just so explosive. Setting the edge is basically where they close everything in, right? So somehow we're running zone away, we're running power, the line's coming down, the defensive end standing there, and without a doubt, he just two-hands you and sets that edge. You can't get any movement on him. He closes everything so that the ball carrier has to run back inside.
So it's like forcing the
ball
play back inside, right?
Exactly. And it happens a lot on zone, and a lot of times it's because guys don't take proper footwork, or they don't get enough momentum going forward that when they get hit, you'll see the defensive end will kind of stand him up, and he's holding that edge, and you see the running backs looking at him like, shit, I got to cut this ball back right now. And at times we don't mind when it happens. Like a lot of times on tight zone, we'll have the ball, we'll cut back, and you're like, that's fine. The worst is on wide zone, because you need that ball to kind of get that stretch to get the linebackers running, and if you can't get the stretch from the running back because they've set the edge, well, then the play's killed. So it's actually really important, and it's talked about a lot. If they set the edge, they're going to kill all of our plays. Yeah,
and it's the difference on offense of the idea of capturing the edge, right? Like you hear that in the offensive meetings. Hey, we got to capture the edge on this play, right? Which means we're either going to down block on him, or we're going to double team and try and really make sure we get this ball out to the outside. The great defensive ends can just set an edge so quickly that the play is pretty much over before it even really begins, right? Because if you think about it, if you're running, like Booney said, zone away, and if you can get to the edge, well, that means there's usually one guy left out there, the corner, and then there's 10 other guys on the other side of the field. So the whole idea of setting the edge is, hey, set this here so that we turn him back to the other 10 guys. Right? Hey, he now has to run towards the other 10 guys that are running towards him instead of allowing him circle and then chasing him. Right? So that's the whole point of setting the edge, just making sure there's a hard there that everyone can rally to the ball properly.
I feel like some elite pass rushing edge guys, sometimes they don't either. It kind of goes undetected among casual fans like me that maybe they're not great at that.
Oh, for sure.
There's certain guys that they're up the field, and if it's a play action coming through, they're not worried about. That can be kind of tough.
Well,
as
a lot of it is
edge.
scheme based too, right? I know plenty of defensive coordinators that their philosophy is we'll stop the run on the way to the quarterback, right? Like we're going that way, right? And if the run happens to come here, so be it. But we'll stop the run on our way to the quarterback. And then you have the other teams like the Steelers and that kind of 3-4 that's more about readers, right? Hey, we're going to stone 2 hands, 2 feet in the ground, full extension, and we're going to 2-gap you here and hold this line on the line of scrimmage, and then we'll convert to a pass rush if we need to, right? So it really is so much of a scheme dependent. And I'll tell you this, San Francisco's defense is stop the run on the way to the quarterback.
100%.
That is what they do. I mean, every single time, it doesn't matter if it's 1st or 10 and 3rd and 10, they are in sprinter stances, and their whole job is to run vertically through the line of scrimmage.
Traditionally, like a 3-4 would be more of a reading defense, right? Like everyone's in a frog stance. They're going to hit you with 2 hands, look right behind you. You see them looking past you all the time, and that's when you would gain the momentum to continue running by them. But more of a 4-3 defense is more of a penetrating defense, and unders are considered more pressures because Sams are on a lot and they're going to be stepping across the line, and all of a sudden that becomes a pressure. So it's really about, like Jay said, the scheme of the defense. And if you look, like 3-4 defenses like the Steelers have 2 big stout defensive ends, Cameron Hayward, a huge nose tackle, used to be Casey Hampton when I was playing, who was fucking massive, right? Phenomenal linebackers, Larry Foote, all those guys, like just Devin Bush. Like, you talk about guys that can go sideline to sideline, but the guys up front are eating every block, massive blocks. And then when you get like your 4-3 defenses, I think of like Aaron Donald was your typical 3 technique, right? Matabike, a great 3 technique who's just
Jalen
rushing
Carter
right up the field right now. And you're like, fuck, no matter what I do, I'm going to have to meet force with this guy. And if I don't, I'm going to lose that battle immediately. Now, they have their pros and cons, right? You can take advantage of both of them simply, but Jay is right. It's all about the scheme as to what you're going to get in terms of reading or up the field.
You dropped a Larry Foote reference in there.
Dude, there are a million guys running through my head with the Steelers defenses lately.
On the real because this is a Niners fan, Purdy Good that chimes in. Do you guys realize the 49ers have gone over the course of 2 years defensively, being the number 1 scoring defense in the league in 2022? Last year, 29th.
Yeah.
There's some injuries and stuff in there, but age injuries, losing some players.
Yeah,
and losing Roberts. Yeah, Robert Saleh.
I think Robert coming back there is going to be really good for everyone involved.
Absolutely.
Including his career.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? Like, some of these guys, the NFL churns. If you fail as a coach, you might. There should be some organizations where there's an asterisk. If you failed with Cleveland, with the Jets, that
you cannot come
count.
Here.
You can
reclaim. You tried. You tried. It's okay. We'll let you climb the hill again, right?
Like Stefanski's going to get fired at some point, even though he's a great coach. Like, no, everyone gets fired. I'm saying,
I think
that
Kev's
dude
still
should be
turn
hired
it around
immediately.
No, I still think Kev has a chance to turn it around, and I really do think I hope he does. He is one of the greatest.
Phil's right. Every coach eventually gets fired, and what Stefanski's been able to do with Cleveland will keep him in the league, right? He didn't flame out, right? Versus I think of
Hugh Jackson,
but I also think of like Judge with the Giants.
Oh, Joe Judge,
right? Like that was a crash.
How about Ben McCudo?
I mean, you could go down the list of coaches.
McAdoo, put some respect on that name.
I thought it was McCudo.
Every time Boone mispronounces a well-respected head coach.
I mean, okay, real quick before we move on, who's that coach going to be this year?
That gets fired.
That's just going to be a train wreck, fired before week 9.
Boy,
is there one?
I don't know that there is one, dude.
The only one that comes to the mind right now is Marty Schottenheimer, or not Marty, Schottenheimer.
Brian Schottenheimer.
Brian Schottenheimer. That's the only one.
Dallas is Dallas is more patient than you think.
They are, but I mean, if Dez or not Dez, geez Louise, if CD and Pickens and Dak aren't meshing well,
yeah,
things could go poorly fast.
Here, I'm trying to find a list.
Go on a rant.
All right, okay. I just found a list. There's some interesting ones on here.
Okay, who you got?
Zach Taylor. If they start 0-3 again or something, because they get off to slow starts.
That's an interesting.
I don't think so. Not after they just paid those 3 guys.
Bullshit. They start 0-3. Yeah, you're definitely getting fucking fired. You mean to tell me we just paid these guys? We can't win. You're all fired. Yep, that's a good one. I didn't think about that.
Stefanski's on here, but whatever.
I don't see that. I don't see that at all.
He'll be fine.
Shane Strickland.
Oh wait, I thought we were gonna resurrect somebody's career over here.
He is. He's not. He's fine.
Well, then how is he getting fired so quickly?
He's not.
Hey,
he's not even on the list.
If they start 1-4, he's Shane Strickland. But if they start 4-1, he's Shane Steichen. Okay,
Steichen.
His alter ego.
Fair.
Brian Dable is on here. He's been on the hot seat. It's not really a shocker. Honorable mentions: Mike McDaniel.
No.
Yes.
I don't see that.
Yes.
Mike, what?
They're 1-3. Things aren't going well.
Things haven't been going well in Miami for a couple years now. Your quarterback's brain is scrambled eggs.
But that's where I think he's going
there's
to be
a lot.
like,
There's
dude,
a lot
you
going
guys
on.
have not given me anything to get out of this. Like, all right.
Well, they paid Tua and they paid Tyreek Hill, and then
that's why
figure it out. And then Teron Armstead leaves. I don't know. I think
that's a shitty situation.
That's a tough situation for him to be in. And so, yeah, if things don't go well and they're in a tough division, like if all of a sudden they somehow look by week 9 that they're behind the Patriots in Vrabel's year 1, I could see the ownership getting a little antsy. Little antsy there. If all of a sudden they're like, wait, the Patriots have already overtaken us in Vrabel's first year. Mike, this is year 4 for you.
And the NFL comes at you fast,
you make
man.
a good point there. You do make a good point. All right.
Yeah, I mean, the NFL don't care, right? If they're like, hey, listen, this is year 4 and Vrabel's doing it in year 1, okay, we must have missed the mark.
Yeah. I'll throw one more. There's an honorable mention on here that it feels a little early, but Raheem Morris is on this list. There's been some train wrecky stuff there in Atlanta with the Cousins fallout, although he did show up to mandatory minicamp. If, let's say, their offense with all those weapons gets off to a bad start with Penix, would that ownership group say, maybe we should get an offensive, before it's too late with Penix, get an offensive guy in the room?
I don't think so.
I think it depends on how the defense is doing. I think if the defense is holding tough and the offense is just not clicking, I think there's going to be like, hey, we need a new OC, right? Like, I don't think – I worry because – you start making big changes over there. Like, you've just went through this whole quarterback controversy. Now you're going to go through a whole new coaching staff. That could be a messy situation. Young quarterback.
He's got 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know if I see that one.
Not this year, but I think if things don't go well this year, he'll be on the hot seat for 26.
The Falcons haven't had a top 15 defense in 8 years.
Well, that's what they're
so can you with a defensive coach, can you flirt with top 12?
I'll tell you what, that Zach Taylor one really has me thinking now, like, man, if they start 0-3 again.
So you've got Joe Burrow is a generational talent, and if you and not to say that it would be Zach Taylor's fault, but it would be if you're off to another weird start and you're trying to maximize Joe Burrow, it would be a lever that you pull. So
you have to, right? Like at some point it's like, hey, nothing's going to change. We're always going to start in the hole. Something's got to change quick. Dude, I never thought about that. That's crazy.
It's crazy. Let's see here from Shane Smolin from Shane Strickland chimes in here from Indianapolis.
Strickland.
And he says, does or would winning a college football national championship equate to winning a Super Bowl?
No.
Well, we don't know. We didn't win.
Did you win one, Boone?
No, I played in 2 of them, but I honestly don't know, and I would think that it probably in that moment it would. You'd be like, "This is the greatest day of my life," and then you win the Super Bowl. You're like, "I take that back. This is the like."
I'll,
so it's like
I'll
1 and 2.
backpedal a little bit. I think now with the playoff system, yes. Old national championship where they just kind of picked 2 teams and we were like, "You guys play for the national championship," and then you had other teams that would like contest it and all that other stuff. I think that's a little different.
Says
I think
the
going
guy
through
who
the
never
gauntlet.
got in it.
You didn't get to it either.
Listen, put some
I played in
respect
two
on that,
of
on
them.
that-
You didn't
the
even
Capital
get
One
close
Bowl.
enough. We were always the ones going instead of you guys.
We weren't even in the same conference yet, moron.
Were you?
No,
I thought you were.
Yeah,
in
you
the
were.
Big Ten.
Dude, you were.
You were in the Big Ten in
Jay-
like 2010.
No,
2008.
Jay was all
No,
big, second team all Big Ten in
2010.
2012.
12. Yeah, Booney was already 3 years into the NFL at that point.
No, but you
My
said
point
they
is,
merged.
even when you were there,
we did not.
were
mer-
still
we were
going.
in the Big 12 until 2010.
I know, but even when you joined the Big Ten, it was always us going and not you.
that's bullshit. I played.
No,
in
it's
a
not.
Big Ten
Didn't we play?
champion-
Didn't
Oh
we
my
go to
God.
the Rose Bowl in like 2010? The first year you guys jumped in, and then the year after that, we went to the Rose Bowl again.
No, you
we've
did
always
not.
kind of won. Oh wait, no, you guys were on the West. We were on the East, weren't we?
We were
Or
the
you
legends.
We were the lead.
legends,
What
and they
were
were
we
the
on?
leaders.
Leaders.
Came
So,
up with that. So dumb.
What an idiot! Yeah,
that was
seriously.
so bad. Legends.
I remember
and
going, "What the
leaders.
fuck is this?
It's like,
It's East
okay.
and West, this shit." Okay.
Jay, what
Yeah,
was your
I don't
favorite
know.
devastating Capital One Bowl loss?
Oh gosh, I mean the South Carolina one was terrible. The Georgia one was awful. I mean, I
South
only won-
Carolina versus Jadavian.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it was Jadavian as a freshman, and then it was
who else was there?
Melvin Ingram was
That's
the
right.
other one. It was
Yes.
Melvin Ingram, and they also had Devin Taylor, who played for the Lions for a long time, and then they had Marshawn Lattimore.
Oh my God.
And they had one more. They had the big receiver out of South Carolina.
He played
that
for
played
us.
for Chicago forever. Alshon Jeffries.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
Yeah, dude, that team was stacked.
We had one of the receivers.
That
too.
team
Who
was
that?
absolutely
that,
stacked.
The next year, that Georgia team, you guys were tied in the fourth quarter against the Todd Gurley
Yeah,
running attack.
yeah. That was
Aaron
against
Murray, I think, was the
Jarvis.
starting
Jarvis Jenkins was the
you end up
defensive
losing?
end. Yeah, we turned the ball over late, and
Oh.
we get
That's why
fumbled.
you're so
we
mad.
fumbled. We fumbled on a pitch, and it was over after that. But then
Look
we
at
beat
that- look at
Georgia.
that,
But
man.
then we beat Georgia the next year in the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, which was terrible. So go from there.
Man. Wow. So I would draw the line at Duke's Mayo Bowl, I think. If you get the mayo dumped on your head, that probably equates to a Super Bowl.
Probably.
Somewhere in there. Let's see here. Dumb football question from 28 Dead Poet says, how does the sharing of the playbook work for like the rookies who probably aren't making the team? Because there's 90 guys on an offseason roster, and you're trimming down to 53.
This is a good one. This is a good one.
Theoretically, those guys could get cut, especially like the UDFAs, and go on to sign with another team and spill all the beans. Are they given the full playbook, or are they given are there like sections that you keep away from those guys?
Who wants to do this? You want to do this? You want me to do this?
Go for it.
All right. So this was the best. When we were with Harbaugh in Frisco, he would separate everybody into groups, and you were a 5, a 3, or a 1. And no, the numbers, I swear to God, the numbers had no fucking meaning. But people thought forever. Like, they'd be like, what do you think the 3 means? And I'd be like, no idea. Like, who gives a shit, right?
I'm
And
a
so
5.
Everybody had a different playbook. And so the different meetings, the different teams had different meetings, and you were not allowed to slip into another meeting. And so like you could tell that who everybody was quickly. Like it was like all the 5s were all the starters, the 3s were all the in-between guys, and the 1s were the guys that were probably not going to make the team. Everybody had a different playbook. We had the most intense. It was brought up several times that you are never to share playbooks with anyone. No one is to ever look inside your playbook. If anyone sees inside your playbook, you are in fucking trouble if you leave it behind somewhere. Like it was the 5s would always meet upstairs in the coach's office instead of downstairs. Dude,
So
it
the
was
5s have
insane.
like the full playbook,
The
and the
full
1s
thing.
have like pictures of cartoons. or
Yeah.
something.
Pretty much like the 1s would have like power zone done, where we would have like trap, counter, stutter, rap, and they'd be like, we're not telling them anything. And a while you'd be like, why are we doing this? And they'd be like, because these guys are gonna get cut. And our system at the time was so advanced that it was like if anyone took this playbook and took it to another team, they would have everything that we run. We weren't just running simple fucking counter like the 80s. We were running shit where the 3 technique wasn't getting blocked, and we were handing the ball off right next to him. And it was like, how are we doing this? And it was so much misdirection and craziness, and guys were fucking going in every direction. And it was like, you're right, we don't want this getting out. So it became kind of a game. And so at times they would test you, and they'd have a random guy come up to you and be like, hey, what'd you guys learn today? And you'd be like, I don't fucking know you. Go away from me. And they'd be like, oh, I saw you guys practicing, and you had different practices. Like,
Dude.
we would do everything. We would go over in the corner. It was
I just
insane.
picture like a bunch of different like guys walking around with like different colored dots on their shoulders, right? Like don't talk to the yellow dot, right?
Oh, he has a yellow dot. We're not even backface him. Put your backs to him. Like,
Sean, the non-believer, Sean.
It was awesome. And then you would go to teams where guys were like, you'd run simple shit, and they'd be like, I don't give a fuck. Take it over to Seattle. Tell them we're running counter. Tell them we call it a deuce. I don't give a fuck. Like, it was so funny to see the different teams because you guys would get cut, and right away they'd go over. They'd call us. And be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to Arizona. They want to know the playbook. You'd be like, you're not going to tell them, are you? They'd be like, I'm telling them everything. I'm fucking telling them. He'd be like, you're such a... And obviously you're pissed because you're on the team that he's spilling the juice to, so you'd be like, well, this fucking sucks. And then you look on your schedule and you'd be playing that team in 2 weeks. You'd be like, this really sucks. Like, everything. And if you ever look at the waiver wire, the minute a guy gets cut from a team that he's been on for more than a month, the team that's playing them the next week will automatically bring that guy
brings him in for a workout.
Right? What is he?
Usually
what do they
brings
say?
him in for a workout.
What do you know?
Yeah.
Tell us everything you know right now. We'll let you get a hot lunch. I traded a couple people out. I'm like, I walked by the cafeteria. It smelled good. Here's what they're doing on third down. They like to take it to this guy. They're going to kill it to this guy. If you bring pressure this way, they're going this way. Oh, I'd have fucking snitched everybody out.
I can remember as a rookie in San Diego where we broke for summer. And I was watching some of the vets leave with their iPads. And I was like, oh, I want my iPad. Like, I want to be able to study in this offseason. They're like, no. Like, you don't get an iPad, right? Like, you have your notebook, right? Like, yeah, just look at that, right?
We got a couple extra pens if you want. Highlighter.
Yeah.
You can
How good were those notes you took that we told you to
remember.
take?
It might have been Carolina where they made us all turn all our stuff in before we left for the summer break. Right, whereas like if you weren't a certified guy, you had to turn in every notebook, every iPad, every note you took. They were like, "This doesn't leave the facility." I was like, "I want to study," and they're like, "Should have remembered more." It's like, "Oh, okay."
Would even like your handwritten notes?
Yes.
They would.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They took our journals. Yeah,
That's how it was when I came in the league. You would ask for stuff, and they'd be like, "No, not a chance." They'd be like,
don't get
that was the old paper copies too. Like you'd have 100 pages, and you turn it in, everybody's name. They'd call you if you didn't. Like, hey, where the fuck's this book at? It was bad. I'm telling you, man. And if you ever got caught, and I know we've talked about this, but if you ever got caught leaving something at a hotel on the road, massive fucking fine. And I mean, massive.
Well, I remember when they went to the iPad system, and no one told anyone that they could track the amount of time that you spent watching film on that iPad.
They caught a lot of people.
And
quickly.
all of a sudden, we had a team meeting, and you just see this chart put up there, and it was like film watch time, and people started panicking, right? Because you're like, dude, I haven't turned that thing on once, right? Like it's like,
listen, just to be
it's
clear,
like middle of OTAs. It's like middle of OTAs, right?
Just to be clear, no starting offensive lineman had an issue with this, right? Like
No.
we were always the top 5 guys. There was no question. There was
the O-line made up
thousands
like
of
the top
hours of film
20%
watched.
usually.
Always. But it was everybody else. Like you'd see the defensive guys like looking around at each other like, you got to be fucking kidding me. They can watch this shit. And you'd be like, oh, no way. Receivers, not a chance. DBs.
Kyler Murray just hits play and leaves it over by the Xbox. So that
now that's a lot. What a lot of guys do is you'll see sometimes you'll come in the room, a guy's got it played, it's just sitting facing up, no one's watching it. Like
that's what turned. That's the problem that it turned into is like you'd be
People
playing
figure it
like
out.
you'd be talking to your buddy and be like, hold on, I got to switch the film. Like, like what? He's like, oh, I got to put on another game.
Never mind.
Yeah, what were you saying?
Just logging that time. Let's do one. We got time for one more here from Hollow Lumi. Dumb football question. At what point is a former player no longer welcome in a team facility? Like, if Randy Moss shows up at the Vikings headquarters, he'd most likely be welcome even 20 years later. But would somebody like just kind of a random guy who played there for a couple years, like where do you draw the line in terms of former player being able to just walk into a facility?
What are you trying to do?
You can never just walk in, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. Like, you can reach out to the liaison, the Tom West from the Vikings, and be like, hey, I'm in town, would like to come to a game, or maybe I'd like to come to a practice. And then it's pretty much at the discretion of the team at that point, right, to let you in. But it also just kind of depends on what kind of person you were when you were there. Right? Like, if you were a turd, right, if you were a shitburger, they weren't going to let you back to anything. Like take them off the email list, like all that piece. But I mean, I still get emails from San Diego that's like, hey, come back to our alumni event, right? Hey, come to our alumni weekend. Come and like they try and make it very inclusive because it is a very tight knit group. I don't care if you're on the NFL, like, and it's usually the guys that are on active, right? It's not usually the practice squad guys, but if you were just on active, even for 1 year, you reach the pinnacle of the sport. Right. And so they do try and keep that as a close knit group. Like, hey, you did this at one point in time. Like you were part of this organization. You helped us bring money in, win games, whatever it is. Like, I think that it all just kind of depends on who you were as a person.
They love you. They love you no matter what. I get stuff from the Cardinals, the Niners, the Seahawks, like everything. Like everyone is always in this league. Their biggest thing is to like welcome you back, love you back. But Jay's right. I've seen where they don't really want guys back. And because when I first got to Frisco, there was a couple of guys that they would talk about. They'd be like, we just hate when this guy comes back. And you'd be like, no way. And they'd be like, yeah, dude, it's just kind of a pain in the ass. And you'd be like, no shit. And they'd be like, real pain in the ass. You'd be like, wow. They'll tell the team like right up, like we don't like it when this guy comes. But if there's another guy, like you said, Randy's probably one of the class, Randy, Tom, if they were to just knock on the door and be like, hey, I'm here, they'd be like, come right in. But if like one of us were to like knock on the door, they'd be like, what the fuck do you want? But Jay's right. If you call and you're like, hey, I want to come to a practice, they always let those guys come back. I will say that. And it is cool because they take care of you, dude. Like, I can't tell you how many emails about like, hey, the Cardinals are doing this weekend. You should come at Top Golf, and we're all going to go out. And I think they throw it to everybody that's played on the team because they know a very select few are going to come actually do it, right? Like everyone's like, dude, I'm busy. I got a fucking life to live. I'm not free on a Friday or I'm not free on a Tuesday. There's a ton of shit going on. It's actually really cool. And I think the coolest part is when we go to the Vikings practices, it's cool to see the guys what they do now compared to what we used to do back then. Like the warm-ups, the way that they practice, the way that they do the practice. Like, and you're talking to some of the older guys on the sideline and we're like, man, we never used to do this shit. And they're like, man, we used to have fucking full pads every day. We used to do bull in the ring. What is this shit? And you're like, dude, it's cool because when you do see the guys come back and you talk to them, they're like, man, these guys are all a bunch of pussies. You're just kind of laughing because you're like, we were in the tweener group. I was part of the two-a-days, but then I was in the league when they got rid of the two-a-days. So I feel like I'm part of the pussy group, but I get enough old guy respect, which is great.
Yeah, there's like old guys that were smoking heaters between two-a-days back in the. There's like so many stages.
Dude, look at the way they walk. You're like, God, they really didn't take care of you guys, did they? And they're like, you guys in your fucking cold tubs and your saunas, and you're like,
I had 3 off-season jobs.
Yeah. Well, the best is when the guys are like, hey, you see a fucking cafeteria? We ate out of a food truck. Yeah. You're like, man, they really loved you guys, didn't they? They didn't at all. Fucking idiots.
Keep those dumb football questions pumping in the YouTube comment section, and we'll keep devoting these off-season episodes to knocking them out, man. So yeah, we got a lot of mandatory mini camps and OTAs, and then it's the don't get arrested break for the NFL, and then training camps are in like 6 weeks. Or so.
Dude, next week the gym's open. Boys are coming. Oh, we're 4 weeks away.
Love it.
For the Rhino, for Jeremiah, I am Phil, and this is the O-Line Committee. See you guys.